Just roll on by. There's old Buddha sitting under the Bodhi tree. There's old Buddha, his mind as quiet as it could be. Sitting like a wise old frog. Sitting like a bump on a log. Sitting with a smile on his face. Kinda like empty space. Doesn't mind rain, doesn't mind thunder. What could bother old Buddha, I wonder? Person? He wasn't bothered by a person. He wasn't bothered by a person. He wasn't bothered by a person. He let that person just walk on by, just walk on by. There's old Buddha sitting under the Bodhi tree. There's old Buddha, his mind as quiet as it could be. Sitting like a wise old frog. Sitting like a bump on a log. Sitting with a smile on his face. Kinda like empty space. Doesn't mind rain, doesn't mind thunder. What could bother old Buddha, I wonder? Mara. He wasn't bothered by Mara. He wasn't bothered by Mara. He let that Mara just roll on by, just roll on by. This song can go on endlessly, you know. Maybe we can sing No Coming, No Going. No coming, no going, no after, no before. I hold you close to me. I release you to be so free, because I am in you and you are Thank you, teens.
Breathing in, I know that Sangha is still there around me. Breathing out, I smile to my Sangha. Sangha around, smiling to Sangha. Breathing in, I know the Sangha is not only around me, but is in my heart. Breathing out, I know that today I will bring the Sangha home in my heart. Sangha in my heart, I will bring Sangha home. Good morning, my dear Sangha. Today is the 18th of August in the year 2010, and we are in the University of Nottingham for our retreat, living mindfully, living peacefully. And this is the last day of our retreat. Today we have a session of questions and answers, and the children have a chance to ask a few questions before they go out and play. And at the end of the session, they will be invited back, and we shall sing a song together. We know that a good question can profit many people. That is why we should ask the question of our heart, a question that has to do with our practice, with our difficulties, with our happiness, and so on. And we may very well ask a question on behalf of a friend who is not there. And those of us who have a question in the heart are invited to come and sit here around Thầy. And they will take the turn to sit on that chair so that everyone can see him or her. The practice is that before we ask the question, every one of us listen to the sound of the bell and enjoy breathing in and out 3 times before we ask the question. There are a few questions that are already written down, and our sisters here will from time to time read one of these questions. If you have a question of the heart, but you are too shy to come up and ask the question directly, you might like to write it down on a piece of paper and ask someone to bring it to Sister Gina or Sister Pine. So children are invited to come up if you have a question. Teenagers are encouraged to ask their questions, and so young adults. And we are all invited to come and sit around Thầy if we have a question to ask.
Why did you want to become a monk?
We had to wait until we wait for some other people to come. Teenagers, young adults, and grown-up people. Now we listen to the bell and breathe in and out 3 times before we ask the first question. Okay.
Why did you want to become a monk?
Say it again.
Why did you want to become a monk?
It seems that I have already answered the question in a Dharma talk. I wanted to have a lot of fun. because I believe that practicing the teaching of the Buddha as a monk, you get a lot of fun. Thank you.
Why do monks shave their heads?
Maybe they don't want to spend too much money on shampoo. Well, I guess that there are many reasons. The first reason is that they are looking for something, some kind of beauty, some other kind of beauty that is beyond the beauty of the appearance. I think that is a very important reason. The monks, the nuns, they want to be beautiful also, but they are looking for some kind of beauty that is higher, that will not bring suffering. And that is why they shave their head in order to say that, well, I don't want this beauty that can create attachment and sorrow and fear. So I express my willingness to look for another kind of beauty. And then there is that reason. The Buddha wants his monks to be real monks. And he said that, well, my dear friends, every morning when you wake up, you touch your head and you remember that you are a monk and you have to behave as a monk. So that is why having a head without hair can be very helpful. Remind you that you are a monk, so you have to practice the precepts, the mindful manners as a monk. So it's very helpful. And the third reason may be because monks and nuns, they want to live a life of celibacy in order to have plenty of time to realize their aspiration and help many people. If they know that if they get married and have children to take care, they wouldn't have enough time to do what they like to do. And that is why they shave their head. It is like to tell other people that we are already a nun, we are already a monk, so please don't follow us and make us into your wife or your husband. So the message is very clear. And yet from time to time, there's people still follow a monk or a nun in order to try to make him a husband or her a wife. Thank you for asking the question. So nice to breathe together. This is a happy moment of the Sangha.
What are the benefits of enlightenment?
Enlightenment can benefit you greatly. Enlightenment is enlightenment about something. Enlightenment is understanding, is insight. And we need understanding, we need insight in order to be happy. The first kind of enlightenment is that you are mindful. When you practice mindful breathing, mindful walking, you bring your mind back to your body, and there you are, fully present, fully awake, fully alive. And you know that you are alive. And all around you there are so many wonderful things. So you can become happy right away. And that is the first benefit of enlightenment. When you are enlightened, you know that you are there, alive. And there are 24 hours a day for you to enjoy. See? So you can benefit right away from enlightenment when you breathe in, breathe out, and make steps. You don't need to wait until 8 years, after 8 years of practice in order to get enlightenment. You get enlightenment every moment, and small enlightenment come and bring you great enlightenment. So when you drink your tea, and if you are mindful, that you know that you have the time to drink your tea, you are happier. So enlightenment brings happiness. And if you are enlightened on the fact that your father is still alive, your mother is still there for you, you suddenly become happy. And that is why enlightenment benefits you maybe every minute if you know how to practice it. Thank you. Can you practice the fifth mantra? This moment is a happy moment. That's the fifth mantra.
What's it like being a monk?
It's like this. You just observe the monks and the nuns, you see, you don't have to ask. They live a simple life. They are very happy because they have the time to practice and to help other people to practice. Thank you. Teenagers are encouraged to come and ask their questions.
Why can't monks and nuns get married?
It seems that I has already answered the question because they want to have a lot of time in order to do what they like to do, like to practice with the Sangha and to help organize retreats and so on. So if you get married and then you have to take care of your family, you have to take care of your children, and you don't have as much time as you like in order to do the things that the monk and nun would like to do. Okay?
What is it that you enjoy most about being a monk?
Freedom, joy. You have a lot of time to practice. You can practice walking meditation every time you go from one place to another. People cannot push you around. You have the time to practice. You have the time to practice sitting quietly every day. You have the time to live with other people who share the same ideal, with whom you can create brotherhood, sisterhood that will be very nourishing to you, and so on. And there are very many moments of freedom, of happiness, of brotherhood and sisterhood in the life of a monk or of a nun. And when we come together and organize a session of practice, a retreat, and we can see people practicing, transforming, and happy, well, that is very rewarding. Happiness, a lot of happiness. Thank you. I think the children, that's enough for the children. The children can go and play. Okay. So when you hear the small bell, you can go out and play, and you are invited to come back in 1 hour. About.
This is a question from Marchant, who's sitting over there next to the door. He wanted to say, I love you, I love your happiness, I love your calmness, but are you ever sad?
He said that sometime he would like to become a monk also. And maybe that will be possible when he grow up a little bit more. And we hope him come strong to realize what he wants to do. sadness from time to time. Thai has lived through many wars. He has seen people dying. And children dying because of the bombs, the guns, and also because of starvation. So there's a lot of sadness. And he also has witnessed to the suffering of many people in his country and around. And when he sees the environment polluted, destroyed, he is sad. But he does not allow that sadness to overcome him. He practices mindful breathing, walking, and try to transform that sadness into the kind of willingness to do something in order to help these children, adults, and so on. It is possible to make use of something negative in order to do something positive. Like you use the mud in the pond in order to grow lotus flowers. So our suffering, our sadness may be useful if we know how to handle, make use of it.
Are you afraid of anything? Do you ever feel afraid?
Fear is something that is always there, as a grain, as a seed in your consciousness. But if we allow the seed of fear in us to manifest too often, and our fear will grow, and we will not be able to enjoy the good things around and inside of us. That is why we have to try to keep fear in control. There are many things we can do with fear. First of all, we don't allow the seed of fear to be watered by ourselves and by people around. And we want that seed of fear to slip down there quietly so that we can enjoy everything that can be enjoyable in our daily life. By that way, we become strong and we can do many things in order to transform the negative things. The second thing we can do with fear is practicing concentration and have a deep look into the nature of our fear. To fear means to fear about something. And sometimes our fear is born of our wrong perceptions. Like we see a piece of rope and we thought that to be a snake. So looking deeply in order to see whether our perception is a right perception or a wrong perception can help dissipate the fear. That is why meditation, concentration can help a lot and remove the kind of fear. And then with meditation you can look deeply into the nature of death, of birth and death, creation and destruction, the nature of no self, selflessness. And if you touch the nature of selflessness, if you touch the nature of no birth and no death, and then you can transcend the basic kind of fear.
Have you ever felt bullied or discriminated against for being a monk?
Yes. But with meditation, with the practice of looking deeply, you don't have to suffer. Because there is if we practice looking deeply, we see that maybe the other person who discriminated against us, they are victim of the kind of views that has been transmitted to him or to her by other people, victims of wrong views. Maybe that person doesn't want to discriminate against us, but because he has received wrong views from many other people, he suddenly become discriminating. So when you see that, you are not angry anymore, and maybe you are motivated by the desire to help that person to remove the wrong view, so that he will be he will become impartial again. When you are a victim of discrimination, you suffer. But if you practice looking deeply, and you see that the other person is a victim, and then you don't suffer anymore, and maybe you can help him or her who discriminate against you. And that has happened for Thầy several times. Thank you.
Was there ever anything that made you think that maybe you didn't want to be a monk? Or no?
He has enjoyed his life as a monk, and if he is to be born again, he like to be a monk again. Thank you.
Do you have any advice about deep listening?
Deep listening needs compassion. You cannot listen deeply unless you have compassion in your heart. And according to this practice, deep listening should be oriented toward ourselves first. We have to listen to ourselves because there is suffering, there is difficulty inside of us, and there is a yearning, there is a need to express that. And so far, maybe no one has been able to listen to us. And that is why we should begin to listen to ourselves. Suffering is there inside of every one of us. And there is a need to be understood. And we can provide ourselves with that kind of understanding. We listen to our own suffering. Allow our suffering to express itself. Unfortunately, that is not what people like to do. They feel suffering inside and they don't want to listen to that suffering. They try to ignore their own suffering. They try to cover up their suffering with consumption, like music, video games, food, and things like that. Many people do like that, to cover up their suffering. They don't want to listen to their suffering. They don't want to understand themselves. And what happens is that if they don't want to listen to themselves, they don't want to understand themselves, they cannot love another person. How can you listen to another person and understand him or her suffering when you are not capable of listening to your own suffering? How can, when you do not understand yourself? And that is why we should have compassion, love for us first. When we speak about love, we always think of love for another person. But in the Buddhist teaching, love for another person is possible only if there is love for oneself. If you don't know how to love yourself, if you don't know how to accept yourself and help yourself, and then it will be very difficult for you to understand another person, love him or her, and help him or her to suffer less, to be happy. And that is why deep listening should always practice on oneself first. The understanding of our own suffering will help you to understand the suffering of the other person and make him or her happier. And we have to abandon our habit of running away from ourselves, running away from our suffering, and trying to cover up our suffering with consumption. I think this is a practice that most of us in this society has to take up. It's very important, very basic. Thank you. about one written question. You have any? Yes. We wait for.
Dear Thai, Brother Phap Khai came and said that a woman in his family has a question about a deep pain and her emotion was too strong. She couldn't come in person, so she asked to write it down. And it says, Dear Thai, yesterday my 31-year-old sister was diagnosed with stage 3 ovarian cancer, which may have spread to her liver. I am new to the practice. How will her breath help her? And how will my breath help me to help her? Thank you.
Maybe we need confirmation from another doctor to be sure that that is what actually happens. And then if it is a real thing that has happened to us, we have to accept, to learn to accept. If we can bring ourselves to accept things as they are, we have more peace. And that can be done with mindful breathing, mindful walking. And we can do breathing and walking with that person in order to help her, to help him to come to accept reality as it is. We will practice according to the Buddha's teaching, looking deeply into what has come to be, cancer. And know that we are not lucky enough. In the past we may not have adapted way of living that can help us prevent. And when with the practice of breathing and walking, we calm ourselves and accept that we have a peace, and having peace will be very helpful. And we will look for another way of daily living that can be conducive to the healing. We learn to eat, to drink, to breathe, to walk in such a way that allowed, that give a chance for the cancer to withdraw. Because there are people, I personally knows of people who have cancer and who believe that they will die after 3 months or 4 months. But when these people have accepted that and try to live according to the teaching of Buddha, relax, live in such a way that relaxation is possible. They learn to relax their body, their feeling. They learn to drink a cup of tea in such a way that can bring joy and happiness deeply. They learn how to take a walk in such a way that they can enjoy every step. And then these people, many of them have been able to live 5 years, even 11 years. There was a young man in Montreal. When they came for a visit, he was sitting on his right. And our friend told that he was only given 3 months to live. And they said, okay, we accept that you have only 3 months to live. But can you enjoy a cup of tea with Thầy now? Because you have 3 months. So can you have a real cup of tea with Thầy today? So all of us practice. It was a tea meditation session. So he said, yes. And he brought himself entirely in order to really enjoy the company of Thầy and the cup of tea. And during the tea meditation, he was offered some practice so that he can live his 3 months deeply, cherishing every moment that is left for him to live. And that person has lived 14 years after. There was a nun in Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. She thought that she would die also in 3 months. And she wanted to come to Plum Village and be with the Sangha for 3 months. After that, she will go back and die in Hanoi. The plan is very clear. And when she first came, a sister of the Lower Hamlet said that, why don't we go to a doctor and see? And she said, no, I don't need to go to the doctor. I know what is going on. I only need to come and be with Thầy and the Sangha. And after 3 months before going back to Hanoi, the sisters said, why don't we have one day before you go back, why don't we go to Bordeaux and look? And when they show up, the doctor said all the cancer has come back to just one place. And many, many years have already passed, and still she is still alive. How many years already? 15 years. And that is why, we hear, we accept, but we know that things can go differently with our mind, our new style of living. So the practice of peace, the practice of changing your living style can bring miracles. And if you are a friend of her, a friend of him, you can support her practice with your practice.
Sorry, my question is a little long. Often situations around the world that bring about injustice and suffering are very complicated and sometimes a little confusing. My fear is that in the strong desire that motivates us to speak out against such injustice and to bring an end to the suffering that it creates, it is very easy to get attached to our views of what is right and what is wrong, And it's equally easy to fall into the trap of imposing the views that we believe on others. My question is, how do we avoid that?
We are eager to do something in order to change the situation. And we may have ideas and views as how to do it. And we may like to impose our ideas, our views on other people. But if we practice mindfulness, we will know that if intolerance, suffering has increased, that's because of that attitude, fanaticism, and so on. So with mindfulness, we recognize that we should not impose our views, our ideas on other people. We have to practice looking deeply, listening deeply, in order to be able to understand the views of other people that may contradict our own view. And that is the practice of non-attachment to views suggested by the Buddha. Looking deeply, we may find out the kind of the way of life that we may like to adopt. We should see that that there should be a way of living that make it possible for our planet and the future generation to survive, to get well. And we just apply that insight to ourselves. Even if we don't say anything, we don't emit any idea or opinion, our way of life is only a message to live in such a way that make a future possible. We are demonstrating the truth. And if you are based, you have that already. And if you have friends around you, participating in that way of life, you become an example for all of us. And whatever you say, we will listen very carefully, because we know that come from your life and not just come from your thinking. I think that's what I suggest, that apply our insight to our daily life. And by that way you can invite many people to join you, and your voice will be heard by the rest of us.
Dear Thai, my heart is full of thanks. I feel very rich and very lucky being here. My question is about the teaching from yesterday. I have to wait till my heart stops beating. I felt very stirred up during the teaching. I realized that I heard this teaching 2 years ago from you, and 6 years ago when I just met you, I heard it. And I heard it 16 years ago when I just started to practice with other teachers. And I've been very moved from the fact that the Dharma is so loyal. It's always there and it's always the same. But my question is about my loyalty to really understanding it. And on the relative level, I do understand that I'm not the same person I know from many years ago that I started. But I just ask myself a really difficult question. What really happened to me in the last 16 years that I'm practicing, and how my next 16 years is going to look like, and if it is really possible for a deep transformation if you are just a lay person. If you really can be free. And you also mentioned about throwing away longings and deep wishes, and is the wish to be enlightened and to be free is not another obstacle.
There are many lay people who practice better than the monastics. I know some lay practitioners whose practice surpasses the practice of monastics. So we should not discriminate against that. If the lay people know how to arrange their life, they will have enough time to study, to practice, and help many people. That has happened to a number of friends I have seen. Not everyone can do that, but there are people who are capable to do that. In fact, the easiest way to practice is to be a monk, to be a monastic. It's easy, much easier, because you are among other monastics. Everyone is doing the same thing, and it's so natural, so easy that you do it. Suppose a walking meditation in a practice center where everyone is walking peacefully without talking, enjoying every step. It would look very strange if you don't do the same. So you see a brother, a sister walking like that, so you are motivated by the desire to do the same, so it comes very naturally. And then when everyone wake up for sitting, you wake up for sitting. So it's so easy to practice in a sangha as a monk or as a nun. I think we can organize a lay community also practicing like that. This Thay's wish. We can organize a lay community where members can practice exactly like the monks and the nuns. That will be very helpful. The desire to be free is a good desire. The longing to be free, that is a good longing. But in the Buddhist teaching, there is no way to enlightenment. Enlightenment is the way. The means and the end are one. You strive in order to arrive at enlightenment. Enlightenment is not now, enlightenment is later when you arrive. So you believe that there is a way leading to enlightenment. But in the Buddhist practice, there is no way to enlightenment. Enlightenment is the way. then from here to enlightenment, every moment should be enlightenment. It's like walking meditation. You arrive in the here and the now with every step. You arrive in the here and the now. Every step brings you solidity and freedom and joy and healing. Every step brings freedom, enlightenment, and joy. And that is why when we take a step, and if we are truly mindful and concentrated, we stay with that step. And that step can bring joy, enlightenment, peace and happiness. Every step is enlightenment. Every step is healing and joy. We don't need to make 1,000 steps in order to taste enlightenment or joy. And that is why it's very important to know that there is no way to happiness. Happiness is the way. And happiness is made of mindfulness and concentration and insight. And every moment of our life can be a moment of mindfulness, of concentration, of insight. Therefore, happiness is in that moment. And if you live like that, you don't long for enlightenment and in the future. You don't long for happiness in the future because you make happiness and enlightenment possible in every moment of your life. And that is the practice we learn here in the retreat. And we are determined to bring it home and to continue. Every step, every breath should bring peace, should bring enlightenment, should bring happiness, should be healing and nourishment. One written question.
Dear Thai, I have been practicing in this tradition for more than 10 years and stopped drinking when I took the 5 mindfulness trainings 11 years ago. My husband, however, has continued to drink, and he drinks most days, and quite often he binges, means he drinks to excess. He now encourages our teenage children to drink. I'm guessing it's so that he feels justified in his drinking. He has many wonderful qualities, but it is difficult to have a meaningful relationship with him because he is often under the influence of the alcohol. My practice helps a lot, especially in dealing with my anger, but I often feel lonely in the relationship because he isn't really present. Do you have any suggestions on how I might practice with this situation? I know I can't change him. Thank you.
When people use drugs and alcohol. It means they have the pain, the suffering inside, or a kind of vacuum, emptiness inside. And they want to forget that. That's the case of many people. And because of that, they are addicted to drugs and alcohol. Addiction is only part of the problem. The basic thing is they don't know how to handle the suffering inside. And we have not been able to help them. We have to accept that. Our practice has not been good enough. We do not drink alcohol. We do not use drugs. We try to speak more with loving kindness. But that is not enough. We have not been able to help that person because our practice is not strong enough in order to do so. We try to control our anger, our disappointment, our sadness with a lot of efforts. But we have not become truly fresh like a flower. We are not as pleasant as we wish to be. If we succeed in our practice, we become very refreshing, very smiling, very compassionate. The other person will realize that and will feel the need of having us beside him, beside her. And instead of drinking alcohol, he will drink you because you are so fresh, you are so pleasant, you are so compassionate. Everyone of us needs freshness, compassion. So our practice should transform us more, should bring more compassion and freshness into our person. And then when we don't suffer anymore, we can, with our compassion, with our freshness, with our understanding, help the other person come out of that situation. So I would suggest that we stop thinking that we have done our part. Only he has not done his part. We can very well improve our quality of practice. And we should believe that when we have become true compassion, true freshness, true understanding, things will change. Because every one of us needs these three elements. And you become the savior of his life. You become the bodhisattva of his life.
Dear Thai, dear Sangha, I was very moved by your aspiration when you wanted to become a monk to help your country. And I wondered what inspired you to that aspiration and also what your aspirations are now.
My aspiration remains very much the same. Confronting the situation in which Buddhism has to be renewed in order to continue its service. The country under poverty, discrimination, foreign control, and practicing in such a way that you can help your country, your nation, and renew your tradition. I have been exposed to many dangerous situations because I followed that line of practice. You don't hate anyone. You try to embrace all warring parties. You want reconciliation. You don't want to continue with the war. That is a difficult stand to take, because in a situation of conflict, if you align yourself with one party, one warring party, you are protected at least by that party. But if you don't align with any warring party, you are exposed to the attack of both parties. So I and many students and friends have been killed by warring parties. I still remember the young people who worked with me in the movement for Buddhist social service. Many of them have been killed because one side suspect us to be with the other side, and this side suspect us to be with the other side, victims of wrong perceptions and so on. And one day, a group of armed people came to the School of Youth for Social Service and threw grenade and killed us because they thought that we help with the communists. We did not talk their talk. It means we have to kill all the communists. We did not talk like that. We said that communists are also human beings, and anti-communists are also human beings, and we want all of them to reconcile. They don't like that kind of talk, of practice. And they threw one grenade into my room. And the curtain returned the grenade outside. There are many dangerous moments like that in my life, and if today I'm still seated here, that's a miracle. That's a miracle, because many of my friends, many of my students have been killed during the war. I thought that the patriarchs, the teachers have, ancestors have tried to protect me and want me to go on and to do some of these kind of works, we have been able to renew the teaching and the practice to some extent. Like when we went back to Vietnam after 40 years of exile and offered them the teaching and the practice, so many young people, intellectual came, those who do not used to come to temple. And the people who came to practice with me, they had been born during my absence. I knew their parents, but I did not know them. And yet they came in great numbers. There were retreats that were attended by 5,000 young people. And we didn't have enough facilities, but they accepted to sleep outside and to eat instant noodle 3 times a day because they love the practice. Because the teaching is understandable and the practice can help them to reconcile with themselves and with their beloved ones. So they came in great number. And the work still goes on, that we continue to try to renew the teaching and the practice so that it can be relevant to our time and help many people. But the work is not entirely done. We are halfway on realization. So it is my desire, my aspiration that my friends, you are here, you continue the work. We need several decades more in order to completely renew the teaching and the practice of Buddhism, to offer them to the younger generation, so that they can restore their hope, their joy, their peace, their happiness, and reconcile with their family and the society. And when I transmit to you the 5 mindfulness trainings, I have a deep hope that you'll be a continuation of the Buddha. You a good continuation of Thai, and you bring the light, the practice, the joy and the peace to so many people. During the time I transmit the 5 trainings, I felt that our spiritual teachers of many generations are behind us, supporting you, and would like you to continue them into the future for the sake of our planet, for the sake of for living beings living on this planet. You get the message? Shall we ask the children to come?
Dear Thai, is the energy of anger that I have and many people have ever okay? if it's used to defend yourself or your loved ones from persecution or from threat, is that energy ever okay to use?
Anger is an energy. We can make use of that energy, but with a lot of skillfulness. We have to transform that energy first before we use it. When we are controlled by anger, we are not lucid enough. We may do the things that we don't want to do. We may say the things that we don't want to say. And we betray our initial intention. That is why it's dangerous to act out of anger. But if you know how to hold that anger and look deeply to it, you understand why the other person has done that, has said that, has inflicted so much suffering on us and on other people. And they see that they are victims also of wrong perceptions, craving, and anger. And nobody so far has helped them to be free from these negative energies. So we are now motivated by the desire not only not to become victims of them, but to help them also to stop being victims of themselves, because they are destroying themselves and they are destroying us at the same time. So what I want is not only to save myself, but to save them. And that intention is Mahakaruna, great compassion. And great compassion is a much better energy. And people can sacrifice their life if they have Mahakaruna in themselves. If you have great compassion in yourself, you are ready to die for the sake of well-being of other people. And you are acting as a bodhisattva. You don't inflict any suffering on other people. You want to take the suffering on yourself so that other people can be free. Not only victim of aggressors, but aggressors themselves. So the message of the Buddha is that the energy of anger should be transformed into the energy of compassion. And don't think of compassion as something weak. No, it's very strong. It's very powerful. And there are those of us who are ready to die because we have compassion and we want to act out of compassion. One more, please.
Dear Thai, it's about the seeds of our parents that are in us, and so my question is personal and has to do with my work too. My mother is a schizophrenic patient, a heavy schizophrenic patient, and so that caused a lot of destruction and suffering in our family, and it still does. And my father died of it. And so I have to accept that these seeds are in me, so these seeds of destruction and chaos and all these things. And it's possible for me to see my mother as a 5-year-old girl, innocent and still healthy, I suppose, I don't know. But then I turn to my work. I do work in the prison too, and I work with people that are nearly psychopaths, maybe psychopaths. And with the children of these offenders. And it's so heavy to realize that these seeds are in the children, and I can't tell them that. So I'm not able to tell these things I heard from you to pass over to them. It's devastating, I think so. So would there be oceans of water enough to water all the good seeds to counter the bad seeds? Thank you.
We speak of these seeds in terms of genes now. We know that we have learned that the genes cannot turn on by themselves. It is the environment that touch off and turn the genes on. We have all kinds of seeds in us, positive and negative. We have to protect ourselves. And we know that the environment is very important. An environment can touch and turn on these negative seeds. And that is why when we have a relationship, we have to be very careful, because we have to discuss with that person, with our partner, about how to protect each other. Not to water, not to turn on the seed in us, in him, and in us. We have to sign a kind of peace treaty, health treaty, happiness treaty between ourselves and our partner. We have to sit down and look deeply. We know that both of us have the negative seed, the seed of mental illness. And if we are put in a good environment, that seed will have no chance, and we can live our life healthily. So let us, as a couple, in our partnership, we arrange our life in such a way that this seed will have no chance to be turned on. There should be a strategy, a way of life that can protect you and protect your partner. And the same thing is true with children. We have to find a good environment for our children, so that these seeds in them will not be watered and turned on. In fact, there are peaceful, good environment that can turn on the good things in our children. So the problem is environment. We have been talking a lot about the ecosystem, but we have not talked enough and discussed enough, and do not have enough insight on the mental, spiritual environment. You know, when we come together like this in a retreat, with the practice, we can generate very wholesome energy that is very nourishing and healing. And sitting here together, there's a much less chance that the seed of sickness in us be turned on. So that is why every one of us should be a builder of the environment, should be an environment worker in terms of spiritual energy, mental energy. And if you allow yourself to be in a bad mental environment, you suffer right away during the first hour. And if you allow yourself to be there for months and years, you will die of sickness. That is why there should be strategies in order to help us to clean the environment, to clean the mental environment. And if you suffer now, you have to look for a healthy environment and seek refuge to that environment. That's the first thing to do. You have to protect yourself. You have to protect your child from that kind of environment. And then when you are strong enough, you'll be able to help changing the other kind of environment. But not before you are strong enough. We are not trying to run away. We'll come back after we have healed ourselves. But for now, we cannot continue like that. We have to get out of this dangerous, toxic environment, spiritual, mental environment. We have to protect ourselves right away. And maybe we have time to sit down and draw up a strategy in order to follow. It's very urgent. My dear friends, it is my wish that we'll be able to continue the learning and the practice that we have taken up in this retreat. The practice of right diligence, watering only the good seed and refraining from watering the negative seed is a very important practice. We should be able to put into practice that kind of teaching in our family, in our school, in our workplace. And by coming here and practice together, we have become members of a spiritual family, a Sangha. We know what is brotherhood and sisterhood in the context of the Dharma. We support each other in our practice. When we practice well, we get transformation and healing and joy and peace. Our energy can support other people around us. So when we come home, let us bring the Sangha home and try to set up a group of people practicing the recitation of the trainings, organize a tea meditation, organize a mindful session of walking meditation in order to nourish our practice, maintain our practice alive. And you do it not only for yourself, but for the Sangha and for many people. And therefore, Sangha building, creating a good environment is the task of every practitioner. And when you go home, please look around and recognize the elements of your Sangha. Invite them to come and organize the practice right away for the sake of our family, the sake of our community and society. We like to invite the monks and nuns, members of the Order of Interbeings, lay members, also members of the organizing staff and organizing community to come here. We shall sing a song together in order to offer our thanks to our spiritual teachers of several traditions. And as we are a Sangha, we shall have opportunities to be practicing together again. Mời các thầy, các sư cô, OI members, organizing team, organizing staff. The children, please come up here with the monks and nuns.
While people are gathering, I would like to invite Fiona, the person who had private consultation of me yesterday, to see me just for a short sentence.
Everyone is invited
Fiona,
to stand up and hold
Fiona
hands.
of yesterday who had private consultation with Sister Chang Khong. If you are still there, I have some recommendation.
Please hold hands as we sing. No coming, no going.
No coming, no going,
no after, no before. I hold you close to me. I release you to be so free, because I am in you and you are in
Dear Thai, dear Sangha, dear friends, on behalf of the organisers, Thai, I would like to thank you for coming, for bringing the Plum Village Sangha with you, and for helping us to practice so beautifully this week. I would like to thank you all for coming. Especially, I would like to thank the team. I'd like to thank Teresa, who's my second body, or I'm her second body, I'm not sure which. I'd like to thank Brother Fatbai, especially for his help. Thai, I have a small gift for you from the team. It's a present that was made from Plum Village clay, especially for Thai. Thank you. I'd like to thank the team, the OI members in the UK, and everybody who has worked so hard. It has just been amazing. It's been an amazing retreat. We've loved it, we've enjoyed it, and please come back in 2 years' time. We hope. And the other person that I've forgotten to thank, it's the lady who puts the words on the screen. It's Claire. So Claire Hill. Thank you, Claire. I don't know whether you can stand up. But if you can, we'd love to see you. Thank you all. Safe journey. There's quite a few more messages. I'm going to hand you over to Dee or Caesar or...
Dear friends, please sit down just for a moment or two. We have a few announcements. For anyone who's leaving the hall, please remember to pick up evaluation forms. If you haven't got them, you'll find them at the retreat information desk. If anyone has borrowed a pale blue blanket from the side of the hall yesterday evening, could they please take it to the reception desk at the end of the Dharma talk?
Thank you. Dear friends, we will try to make it as short as possible. We would like to remind the young adults group that we will meet right after the announcements, just here on my left, to share about, to continue to share about our projects for the Wake Up Movement. And we also would like to announce to everyone that even though this retreat is over, but we will have another retreat in a few days for young people in Plum Village from the 22nd to the 27th. So if you know some young people from 16 to 30 who would be interested, don't hesitate to let them know. Sorry. We would like to ask all of you to please give back your room key to the porter, apart from the monastics. And we also ask everyone to bring back your cushions and also everything that you put on display for the Sangha fair. We also would like to announce that the bookshop will be open right now and also after lunch. We also have these small things that are very handy. It's the 5 mindfulness trainings are printed on it. It's very beautiful and you can have them everywhere with you. So you can read regularly the 5 mindfulness trainings. And they are on the bookshop for sale and they help raise funds for the Being Peace Practice Center Cottage in Great Britain. And then there is one announcement about a 5 mindfulness training certificate from Sarah Lienhardt. You received the 5 trainings this morning, and your certificate is here, so you can come right after this to get it.
there's quite a lot of mats that have been brought by local sanghas. Please, everybody that is sitting on a mat, some of them are marked. There's the London Sangha mats, which are black and have a little thing on the corner. There's also some other coloured mats which Sangha members will know that are sitting on. Could you put those mats and the cushions, if you have them, to this side of the hall as they need to go back to their local sanghas? Very important for us. Thank you.
So, I would like to make one announcement. Anyone who is still requiring an EIB certificate for the retreat, please send your full name, Dharma name, and date of birth, plus full address, postal address, to retreat 2010 at interbeing.org UK. This address will be on the whiteboard in the atrium. Certificate will then be sent to you. And since we're speaking of the EIB, the European Institute of Applied Buddhism, we have brought from Germany several boxes of brochures, programs, and newsletters for you to inform you about the European Institute. And some of you took, and some of you have not yet taken. And we would like to, if possible, not to bring them back to Germany, but to distribute them here, because we want the English Sangha to know about us. We are a European institute, not just a German institute, so please help us to distribute them here in England. We have a few more, and they're right to this, beside the stage. I will be there, I'm here now, and hand them out to whoever's interested. And I think it would be very nice if you take 1 or 2 or even 3 copies for your Sangha, that you can distribute them in your Sangha if you have your personal copy already. It is Thai's very, very big dream to have this European Institute, and we all can help together to create it. And then I have a personal, well, not really personal thing. That is, last night I missed the appointment with Karina Norman. I apologize deeply, but Thai had asked a few of us to speak to us, and I had to leave and have no time to put a sign there, but find someone who would take to speak to Karina. If Karina wants to speak to me now or after lunch, then please come and see me now. The same is for Diana, Bernard, and Arthur Ward. We missed each other, but you missed me as long as I missed you. So if you would want to see me, please come up now and let me know. Thank you. And here is the Mindfulness Training Certificate for Maureen O'Callaghan.
I've got a long list of lost property, which includes a pink hairband, and if nobody claims it, I will be taking it home. So rather than waste your time, if anybody who has lost something, and there's some quite significant things here, quite, things that some people should have missed. And so just come to me and I'll sort of share with you. Is it yours? Great stuff. I don't get a pink hairband. Next announcement. Pheasant family members who signed up for EIAB certificates, please see Sister Anya at the calligraphy sales table. And the last one is from me. People who have not received the 5 mindfulness training certificates, please come to the stage now and we'll make a list. Thank you.
Dear friends, I just want to take this opportunity to share a little bit about the online streaming of Thai's Dharma Talk. Some of you may be interested to watch these talks or other talks online. We're exploring using a new medium for putting Thai's talks. We have already the DVDs available that are high quality videos of Thai's talks. But Thai is very open, and he would like his teachings to be able to be more accessible to more people around the world. Many people who are not capable of coming here. So these talks during this week, as Thai shared, we were streaming live on the internet So every day we had about 100 to 120 people watching a little bit everywhere, following the retreat. And if we would like to see something like this continue, it's kind of a test thing. And we're basically being supported by donations from people for covering the costs of renting the servers. We're just using a small laptop now for streaming it, which crashes quite often. So if you are inspired, and for example in the trip in Southeast Asia that Thai will go on this fall, we'd like to be able to offer a similar thing. And if you feel inspired by that and you'd like to contribute, then please you can go on Thai's Facebook page and see the link there. It's stream.pvweb.org. Stream like live streaming. .pvweb for plumvillageweb.org, and you might like to make a donation. So thank you.
Dear friends, this is an announcement for the young adults, a last announcement. For those of you who are interested to come to the youth retreats, you can come and see me. I will be over there. If you can come earlier, like in 2 days, we have some spare tickets, train tickets, so you might come to Plum Village with us the day after tomorrow. And it's cheaper tickets because it's a group ticket. Thank you. Have a safe journey home.
Finish now. Be careful. Be careful, you are online. You are online, not careful.
Thank you. Nice.
Still working? Can I interrupt you for a second? No. No, I just wanted to say thank you for your leadership of the group. And particularly, I loved being on time and starting and finishing and knowing it was going to happen. I really appreciate it. Thank you and all the best. It was good. It was really good, especially for so many people. Amazing.